دوستا. سابمرین 581 امریکایی است که اینجا پارک شده به خاطر نمایش. میخوایم برو ببینم داخل که چی رقم است. USS Blueback 581. از این داخل انترانسش است یا بدنش است دوستا.
Okay, welcome folks to the USS Blueback Submarine Tour. My name is Tim, I'll be your tour guide today. Has anybody taken this tour before? Yeah. Yep, alright, welcome back. Anybody here serve in the military? Alright, no problem. Well, I'm going to tell you about the outside of the Blueback before we go inside. This is one of 3 Barbell class submarines that were constructed. The Barbell class subs were the first attack submarines in the United States Navy with a teardrop shaped hull. This shape makes this submarine very fast and quiet underwater compared to older submarines. Now, this submarine was in service from 1959 to 1990. She is also the last diesel-electric attack submarine in the U.S. Navy. All submarines after her are nuclear powered. The big square structure with the 581 is called the sail, and everything you see sticking out the top of that sail will retract down into it when the submarine goes underwater. The 2 silver tubes forward that look like big crochet needles are the periscopes. The black and green spotted masts are various antennas, and that big black L-shaped mast on the back is our snorkel. Sticking out the side of the sail is one of the 2 fairwater or sail planes, one on either side of the sail, which control the depth of the submarine underwater. There are 2 more planes on the back of this submarine known as stern planes, which control the angle or pitch of the submarine underwater. In terms of size, Blueback is 219 feet long and 29 feet wide. Any questions about the outside of the submarine?
No.
Alright. Well, in 1994, OMSI got the submarine. They created this entrance behind me. When you follow me inside, we're going to go down some steep stairs, so please hold on to those hand railings. Feel free to take pictures or video of anything inside the submarine. Nothing in there is classified anymore. You ready to see the inside?
Of course.
Follow me.
Well, finally, we're getting in. شاید من اولین افغان باشم که داخل یک سبمرین رو میبینم. بسیار سیت های. This way?
Yep.
The kitchen is going to look like this. These are the clothes.
Oh, we asked everyone please move to the submarine on the road. Just hold on to those railings. One step at a time.
Would you mind if I...
Let's grab a seat there.
Okay, let's sit down over here. Come on. You want to sit up there?
On here before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pay attention. You're going to sit down there.
They're all 6 years old. That may have been a factor.
Sit down all the way. All the way. All the way.
All right.
There you go.
You are now officially aboard a United States Navy submarine. Now we start off here in the area known as officer country. Wherever you see this blue carpet, that's for officers only, because they're the ones in charge. Now Blueback normally had a crew of 85 men. 8 of them would be officers who lived up here, and there'd be 77 enlisted sailors living one deck below. Where you're sitting is the wardroom or the officer's mess, where those officers can have free time, do paperwork, and eat their meals. All the food is actually cooked below us in the galley, which we'll see later on. The officers' meals are going to be brought up to this pantry and served to them by the steward, who's the only enlisted person allowed up here without reason. Now, no food's really made in the pantry, with the exception of lots and lots of coffee. Down the hallway are the staterooms for the officers to sleep in. The stairs we use now for the entrance and exit go through what used to be a 3-man stateroom. Only one person on this entire submarine has the luxury of his very own private stateroom. Who's that?
Officer.
Which one? Who's the head guy on any ship?
Captain?
The captain. Yep. Right through there, that's it. Captain gets the master bedroom. It's the biggest stateroom, about the size of a small walk-in closet. He also has the biggest bed. That's the only built-in bed you can sit up in and not hit your head. Perks of the job. We're done now with the perks of being the captain. If you look right here, we have a cutaway diagram of the blueback. The black part you saw outside is the outer hull. We are inside the inner pressure hull right now. Between these two hulls are empty spaces called ballast tanks. A series of flood ports are on the bottom and a series of vents on top. So we open these vents up, the air goes out, and about 490 tons of seawater goes in, causing the submarine to become negatively buoyant, and then it dives or submerges. It does not sink, though. Sink is what Titanic did. We got to avoid that. To get to the surface again, close the vents, blow high pressure air into the tanks, force that water out. If we do it really fast, we're doing this maneuver right here. That picture shows the USS Houston performing an emergency blow. Last time Blueback did that, she went from 700 feet to the surface in about 58 seconds.
Wow.
You just be holding on tight. The hull of the submarine is made out of this material. This is a chunk of our inner hull, a 1.5-inch thick piece of HY80 steel. The outer hull is half of this thickness.
Ooh.
Go ahead and feel how heavy that is. There are other pieces hanging over there, next to the clock and behind you right there. That steel can withstand 80,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. That's going to allow the submarine to dive down to over 700 feet underwater. Now, if this submarine were to reach about 1,050 feet, the warranty ends and the submarine implodes. So no deeper than about 1,050 feet.
Give it back to them. Give it to little girl so she can
Now, to give you an idea of the size of this submarine compared to others, if you look right up here at this blue display, I'm going to dim these lights. These are all to scale. These are 3D printed models. They were made by a very dedicated volunteer we have. You are on that submarine right now. That's Blueback. Below it is a World War II fleet boat submarine. That's what she replaced. If you note the shape of it, those submarines were basically surface ships that only dove underwater when they had to attack something. Beneath that is the modern Los Angeles class fast attack nuclear powered submarines, and those are gradually being replaced by the Virginia class. The one beneath it, an up-and-coming Block 5 Virginia submarine. The first one of those, the Oklahoma, is currently under construction right now. It's due to enter service in about a year or two. And at the top are the largest submarines in the United States Navy, the Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines. It's part of our triad of nuclear deterrence. The other parts are Air Force bombers and intercontinental ballistic missiles. You don't want to make those submarines angry. If they start shooting off their missiles, it's the end of the world. Very bottom, the biggest submarines ever made. Not by Americans, though. Comrades, that's the pride and glory of the Soviet-Russian Navy. The Typhoon class, we call them. They're a few feet longer than an Ohio, but it's nearly twice as wide. You can take two of these, put them side by side, and they will nearly fit inside a Typhoon. But the good news is that all 6 of those are no longer in business anymore.
Okay.
On the left, the little one at the top is the first commissioned submarine in the United States Navy, the USS Holland. That submarine entered service in 1900. It's 53 feet long. You and about 6 friends can go about 80 feet underwater in that thing. Beneath the Holland, that's something you may have been on before. That's a 40-foot city bus. So we've come a long ways, literally, with submarines.
That's crazy.
Any questions so far?
I think that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, our next stop, folks, we're going to head through this door to the control room. When we pass through this door, it's going to start to look like a submarine and stop looking like an RV. That means it's about to get narrow. Watch your heads, Watch your step, and please don't play with the buttons or knobs or switches. Some of the submarine still works. The Navy actually still owns it, so they don't want you to damage anything on board or sink it.
Okay.
When we head through the door, if you look to the right on the starboard side, you'll see our ship's office. If you look to the left on the port side, that's the radio room, which is still an active ham radio station. When we get to the control room, you can look through the 2 periscopes in the center of the room. You ready to see more submarine?
Yes.
Yes.
Follow me.
Tak kudum bakalım çizdi nazan ya. Через это.
Push the button. Okay, we have to be very, very careful, okay?
اسم choice که من نفهم که چی است.
Yep, that's it. Yep, climb up on there if you need to go higher.
Climb, climb,
Alright, and this room is normally going to have 8 men in it, but if you hear the gong of the general alarm, then we're at battle stations, and about 17 men are going to be in this space. Let's pretend for a minute that we're headed out to sea on patrol, and we've just crossed the 100-fathom line, so there's 600 feet of water underneath us. We're going to shut down our diesel engines, switch to batteries for power. When we've closed all the hatches and are watertight, as indicated by these green lights over there on the ballast control panel, then they're going to give the order to dive the boat. The chief of the launch grabs the 1MC microphone, which goes throughout the whole vessel, and he announces to the crew, "Dive, dive," and sounds the dive alarm twice. Just to warn you, this is pretty loud. You might want to cover your ears. Dive, dive.
Nice.
When that alarm sounds, we open the vents, water goes into the ballast tanks, and the men seen here push forward on these wheels. This submarine is going to pitch down and be underwater in about 1 minute. Now the submarine has no windows, so the only way you're going to see outside is through these periscopes. We're only using these down to about 59 feet underwater. If we're near the surface, we can raise up an antenna and look for land-based radio beacons to get a fix on our position. On this chart table back here is going to be the quartermaster. He'll navigate for us by using this map. So imagine you're in a car that has no windows and someone's in the back seat telling the driver when to turn. That's what it's like to navigate underwater. If you're wondering what all these red lights in this room are all about, that's called rigged for red. See, night and day have no meaning on submarines. So the red light tells the crew it's nighttime out. If you're looking through the periscopes at nighttime, the red light will help your eyes adjust more easily to the darkness. And also, if we switch these lights in this room to white, this white light could go up these periscopes and somebody on the surface could see that for miles. So red light is keeping the submarine stealthy and hidden. That's the biggest strength of any submarine. You don't want to be detected. Over here on this side, we walk by the attack center, the fire control system for the submarine. That blue window there, that's a computer called the torpedo data computer. Now I don't mean like your home computer. I mean like a 2,000-pound electromechanical analog computer. There's just gears and wheels and wires inside there. All that's doing is a bunch of math. So when we fire a torpedo, it's going to hit a moving target. That was a state-of-the-art machine in 1959. Very accurate, even today. But of course, modern submarines have gone digital now. Any questions about this room?
No. Handalash is going to handle machine.
Our next stop, folks.
I'm not going to carry you. We're going to do it slowly together, okay? One step at a time. One step at a time.
اینجا بوی دیزل میاد، چون آخرین مدل دیزل است که جور میکنن. این یک بالا بینید، یک بالا بینید. جاست که سبمارین از شکارات میشه. اینجا میتونه کارتون داشته باشه، کارتون حرکت مثل موتور رو بکنه. این مثل یک اشتری داره از طرف خودش حرکت میکنه. باز هم پیاده است که من زندگی دفعه اول از میبینم دوستان. من فکر میکنم چی است، واقعا خیلی کول است. چون میبینیم در این منطقه رنگ سرخه به خاطر انتخاب کردن که چشم هر چیز زودتر در شب یا روز بتونه بیرون از این بمونه. اگر این در لایتش روشن سفید بکنن و این از طرف وقت شب باشه از طرف دیگر دشمن ها زودتر دیده نمیشه، به این خاطر چراغ فرق داشته دارن. بیان بریم بودن خیلی نجور بکنیم. صدایت میه خوب؟ اینجا باز صداهای دلفین و ایناست که برنامه شما میشنوین. این باز صداهای دلفین هاست دوستان.
This gray floor in the middle you're standing on is a hydraulic lift. It raises up. We're going to strap the torpedo onto it, then move the lift up or down, and push them onto these skids on the sides. We'll attach one of these hydraulic rams, known as a rabbit, to the back of the torpedo, which will push it into one of those 21-foot-long tubes. We seal the inner door of the tube in this room, then flood that tube with water. We can then open the outer door and use 3,000 pounds of pressurized seawater, which will push the torpedo and launch it out of a tube. In the event we were to fire this big green torpedo on the left, for example, this is a Mark 48. These torpedoes were in service in 1972 and they're still in use today. A Mark 48, when it fires, will spool out about 20 miles of wire from this can behind it. We can use this wire to guide this torpedo to its target. We can also cut the wire, and the torpedo will activate its own sonar and home in on the target based on its instructions. Now it approaches the target, goes underneath it, and explodes, creating a big bubble in the water. That will break the keel of a ship. You can see a picture on the side showing you what that looks like. It's taking that 3,000-ton destroyer and snapping it in half. Now that being said, the Blueback was never in combat. The last time a United States Navy submarine actually fired a torpedo in anger was August 14th of 1945, at the very end of World War II. But they've had a lot of practice since then. If you look above your heads on that side over there, you'll see some beds. If we have extra space in this room, we'll lay out some mattresses and have sailors sleeping in here. A lot of sailors actually like this room because it's cooler than the rest of the submarine. There's more space to stretch out. You have your own bunk, and the torpedoes don't snore. So the benefits outweigh the drawbacks.
Did you fall back out, or did you want to see something else? Okay, let's let them go.
بلندتر ثبت کن.
هر کدام از یا که هست که رو دیوز استفاده میشه اکسپایر نشده. قسمت ها را شما ببینید که تونلک ها را میبینید و هر کدام جای راکت هاست که راکت در اونجا مونده میشه و دریچهش قلف میشه و باز با فشار آب که در داخل از پیدا میشه این بیرون فشار توسط فشار آب این فایر میکنه بیرون. هر کدام از راکت ها قابلیت خراب کردن بسیار سبمارین های دیگر را دارد است. واقعا ما اینجا شوکه شدیم خیلی دفعه اول ماست که ما داخل سبمارین هستیم. بسیار قبلا یاد میکنم نمیدونم چی کرد خیلی اگری داخل سبمارین است دوستا. یک ویدیو شارت است. جزئیات بیشتر شما در یوتیوب ببینید. استاد اینجا شاور هست که شما شاور ها می‌بینید. دستشویش هست. اینجا هم جای برای کروز هید است. یا تخت خواب است، کافی، تلویزیون. اینجا صدا رو مونده که کسی خواب است دوستا.
Parents ready to sign your kids up yet? Yeah. How do you take a shower on a submarine? There are two evacuation
اینجا فکر میکنم که کسی خواب است دوستا. خب صدا رو میشنوید؟ اینجا فیک جور کردم یک نفر خواب است.
and bilges. And this submarine has no washers or dryers either. Your daily working uniform, a pair of Navy coveralls, known by sailors as poopy suits. You get two of these for the patrol. So you're gonna wear them forwards and backwards and inside out for weeks. Take them off, they'll probably stand up on their own. Your dirty laundry goes into your laundry bag right here. We pull back into port, you can take your laundry ashore and then you can clean it. So that funky odor you're smelling, that's original. That is 31 years of a submarine. We'll never get rid of it.
Yeah, the dirty one.
A modern nuclear-powered submarine today has it better, somewhat. Showers are usually every day. These stuff conserve water. They have a washer and dryer for the crew to share. And it only took the U.S. Navy until very early, like 2010, to ban smoking on submarines.
Oh, wow.
Now, by coincidence, that is the same year they started allowing the first women on submarines. Those two events are separate, though. Any questions? All right. Our next stop.
دوستان اینجایی است که کسایی که اینجا کار میکنن خواب میشن. اونجاش ما براتون نشون دادم که یک مانکنر ماندن، صدای خواب ماندن. تا کسایی که هست خوابش چی رقم اکسپریانس یا تجربه داشته باشن اینجا اینا خواب میشن. اینا حالا لباس ها هستن که اینجا میمونن. هر کس وسایل خود میموندن با خاطر نگهداری، مثل المانی بوده. هر لیگی که در اینجا کار میکردن از این سوپ 2 دانه برای خود میگیرن یا 2 دانه میداشته باشن و اینا بسیار سختی حمام میکنن. یعنی در 45 ثانیه هوا میاد، 45 ثانیه بعد قطع میشه و در دفعه شامپو سر بزنید 45 ثانیه هوا میاد، در 45 ثانیه دیگه باید هوا کش کنید. گفته وطنهای ما شما باید نقطه زودتر حمام کنید. دیگه اینجا هم داخل است که میتونه بستن.
Training, meetings, free time, entertainment, or even religious services in this space. It would only seat 20 people at a time. It would only seat 20 people at a time. There used to be a table right there, but we took that out and put these stairs in to create the exits. These are not original to the submarine. The newest enlisted sailors are going to spend their first 90 days working over in the scullery. That's where you get to wash dishes, scrub pots and pans by hand, peel potatoes, take out the garbage, serve people their food, fetch and stock food, assist the cooks, and keep this area clean. It's not a...
I'd go up. Let's see what he wants to do. Yeah.
Can I go back out? Or do you want to
شما این رقم دروازه رو در فیلم ها و سریالات ندیده بودید، باز من واقعی میبینم دوستان. واقعا خیلی ما دیگه باید چند دفعه controls everything?
Talk about this.
Okay, sure.
Actually controlled from this room. We just walked through the engine room and we walked by one of the 3 Fairbanks Morse diesel engines. Those are still being made today. They can also be found on nuclear-powered submarines as a backup generator, along with train locomotives and surface ships. The sound you hear in that room is a recording. If those engines are running and you walk into there, it's 125 degrees Fahrenheit and 137 decibels. If you're not wearing rubber earplugs and earmuffs, You would have permanent hearing loss in 30 minutes in that room. The diesel engines on this submarine do one thing. Each of them turns a generator. Notice too the electric motor right behind this wall. The electric motor in the back is what's actually turning the screw, the propeller of the submarine, which you walked by when you came down here. So the whole submarine just runs on electricity. Normally there will be 3 men in this room. The engine man right here with 3 identical sets of controls for each of those engines. The other 2 men are called controller men. The junior controller man stands there at this panel with all these gauges. He's monitoring the batteries and controlling the generators. And the senior controller man mans those 2 chrome wheels. The one on the left side controls the speed of the propeller, the other one the direction. So that's the gas pedal and gear shift essentially. They need to communicate down into this room from the control room and tell them how fast they want to go. So that's how they change the speed. The top speed of blueback underwater is about 24 miles per hour. But at that speed, the batteries will be dead in 35 minutes. If we slow this submarine down to about 5 miles an hour, that's about walking speed, the batteries last over 4 days. About every 2 or 3 days, bring the submarine up to 60 feet, raise the snorkel so it's up in the air, start the diesel engines, recharge batteries, and refresh the air. Nuclear-powered submarines don't have to do that. They can stay underwater as long as they want. Their only limitations are how much food and toilet paper they can carry. Any questions? Okay. I'm going to lead you folks now back out through the engine room. When you climb the stairs in the crew's mess, there is one blue step on those stairs. That's the water line of the river outside. We have now been underwater completely for about 25 or 30 minutes.
Okay.
Awesome.
ما از اینجا اجازه نداریم که پیش بریم. بخش اینجا نیاز این صداهای رو که شما میشنوید این صدای واقعی نیست، صدای ریکورد شدگی است اینجا. آخر تور ماست میریم اینجا یک استپ آبی است و براتون نشون میدم فعلا لول آب در بیرون تا چه قدر است دوستان. Follow me please. اینجا شما میبینید اینی را یعنی آب در بیرون تا فعلا این قدر است. اینجا بالا به سر آب است. Explanation, I appreciate that. So I wish I could take the time again and see how
Thank you for coming. Have a great day today.
Thank you sir. Thank you for the explanation. دوستان عزیز واقعا جای خیلی خیلی عالی بود. این جمعیال ما گفتن نمیتونم که چی رقم لغت استفاده کنم که تعریفش بکنم و یا تکنولوژی بکنم تشریح بکنم. اما شاید ما اولین یوتیوبر باشم که داخل یک دانه کشتی زیر دریایی امریکایی شدیم دوستان. واقعا خیلی جالب است. این ویدیو رو با برایتان شریک میکنم در یوتیوب در چینل زندگی. اما امیدوار هستم که شما لایک کنید. تشکر دوستان عزیز همراه ما بودید. خداحافظ.